Peace and love to all y'all Moors, all y'all Muslims, all y'all Asiatics. If you ready, we finna take off. You're gonna wanna share this out to everybody worldwide. Share this out. All right? You know, it's always interesting when people will be like, the Moors, they always kick it off like, the Moors sold people out. But you know what's interesting about that? The Fez is a sign of the Moors. So I want to kick it off by showing y'all some pictures so you can be your own judge. I'm going to show you some pictures. I'll be like, you make your own determination, right? Peace and love to all the critical thinkers out there. Share this one out. This one finna be crazy. Watch this. Let me bring you in. Let me bring you in and show you some things. Now, they always be like, well, the Moors were sellouts. They sold everybody out. So why does Muhammad Ali have a Moorish fez on his head? You see how we coming. You see how we coming, right? If the Moors were such sellouts, then why would arguably the greatest athlete of all time, the greatest boxer of all time, why would he have a Moorish fez on? Muhammad Ali. Huh? Maybe he knew something that most people didn't get told. Huh? Nah, let's take it back further. He had a fez on. Now let's go back further. Why does he have a fez on that's carved in, what is it, marble, granite? It's carved in something ancient. Why does he have a fez on? Hold on. So that's ancient times and that's modern times. They both got Moorish fezes on. But people talk this trash and be like, no, the Moors sold out. They sold out to the white man. So this guy in ancient times got a Moorish fez on. Muhammad Ali got a Moorish fez on. Hold up. Hold up. And you see the Moabite women, they all got turbans on. That's Moorish. That's Moorish. That's Moorish. That's Moorish. Turbans and fezzes, right? Turbans and fezzes, right? Hold on. Share this one out. Now, you explain to me, oh, why does this guy, why does he have a turban? Why does he have a fez on? Ah, y'all got some explaining to do. You see? Because I'm going to show you who the real sellouts is. I'm going to show you why does Elijah Muhammad, why does he have a Moorish fez on? But see, the prophet, Noble Drew Ali, he told us not to mark up our fezzes. See. Noble Drew Ali told us don't mark up your fez. Noble Drew Ali, in case you never seen him, this is who Noble Drew Ali is. With the turban on, with the gold jewel on, and the purple on. He's the prophet. He's the one. He's the last prophet. He told us as Moorish Americans, don't mark your fezzes up. We are not Negro, black, or colored. But after the prophet was here, this guy is wearing a Moorish fez. But did he listen to the prophet? You be the judge. Prophet Noble Drew Ali said, Moors, don't mark up your fezzes. Keep your fez plain as the truth. The truth is plain and simple. You be the judge. Did he mark up the fez? What's that right there? Hold on. You be the judge. You determine what it is by looking at what you see in front of your face. Noble Drew Ali the prophet said, Moors, don't mark your fezzes up. Keep them plain like the truth. Because the truth is plain. Did he follow instructions or did he do his own thing? And why does he have a fez on to begin with? If all of the Moors were selling out, why does he have a fez on? Ooh, hold on. Wait, whoa. So that's Muhammad Ali with a Moorish fez on. And that's the ancient ones. Hold up. The cord extending from eye symbolizes the universal umbilical cord of universal life and represents oneness of all life. It also represents the tie to the source of humanity, Zodiacus, the first woman. So when you see a Moor wearing the fez and you see the cord hanging off, that's a symbol of life. That's a symbol of universal connectiveness to the woman and the universe and the philosophies and the principles of the universe. You looking at divinity when you see a Moor wearing a fez. That means that Moor knows herself, or that Moor, she knows herself. Nah, let's go over here. Back to him. Why does he told people to call themselves Negroes? Directly in contradiction to what Noble Drew Ali said. Now you starting to see who really was the sellouts and still selling y'all out today. He got a fez on. Then they get quiet. They get real quiet. Matter of fact, they don't even show this picture. They try to act like this picture don't even exist. You can share this to all the FOI, all the NOI. They all know. They all know what's going on. All right? They all know what's going on, man. Then you got another Moor wearing the fez. They all know what's going on. But see, they don't speak about this. But let me show you this, though. Ain't y'all tired of begging? You want to be a Negro, a black person. Ain't you tired of being on your knees? And then if you get up off your knees, you still looking like a slave. Because Negro, black, Indian, Pan-African, FBA, all of those are slave statuses. You might as well just get back on your knees and put chains on. Because if you identifying as Negro, black, colored, Indian, Ethiopian, Native American, FBA, and all that other nonsense, you still a slave. Did you know that? We gonna build on that too. So you got to get out of this. You got to get out of these misnomers, and you got to step up and stand up to who you really are. But see, this is who you really are, though. Hold up. This is who you really are. You really supposed to have a crown on your head as a king. You really supposed to have a crown on your head as a queen. You really supposed to be standing tall with being regal, royal. This how you really supposed to be, Moorish woman. And you Moorish man out there, this how you really supposed to be, standing up tall with the glow on. You really supposed to have that glow, though. But see, if you don't know yourself, you gonna keep mislabeling yourself as a black person or a Negro or an Indian or a Native American. You might just go ahead and throw the chains back on yourself. Because I'm going to show you something right now about people that's out here getting misled, identifying as a black person. I'm going to show you something that's finna blow your mind. That came out of Abraham Lincoln's mouth. And it's in the law books. It's in the law books, though. Hold up. It's in the law books. But see, what happens, though? What happens? All these people that's promoted to be black leaders and black scholars, they don't show our people no receipts. They don't show no receipts. They just get in front of the microphone and start talking. Let me show you this. Let me just show you this, what this guy said. Abraham Lincoln. Hold up. Abraham Lincoln said what? He said, I have no purpose, directly or indirectly, to interfere with the institution of slavery in the states where it exists. What? This Abraham Lincoln. This ain't me. He say, I have no purpose to introduce political and social equality between, he says, it's really Caucasian and it's really Moors. But he says white and black races, even though we know that's cap. It's only one race, the human race. He later goes on to say, there is a physical difference between the two, which in my judgment will probably forever forbid their living together upon the footing of perfect equality. And insomuch as it becomes a necessity that there must be a difference, I, as well as Judge Douglas, am in favor of the race to which I belong, having the superior position. Abraham Lincoln, First Lincoln-Douglas debate, August 21st, 1858. Now, keep in mind, Abraham Lincoln actually was what you would say was a black man. He was not a Caucasian. Yeah. You see how they playing both sides? Now, Abraham Lincoln was not a pale-skinned European. He actually was a so-called black man. He was a Moor. But he was playing both sides. I'm going to show you how. This shit finna blow your mind. He said, and another one, he says, this is another speech that he gave. He said, my paramount object in this struggle is to save the Union. And it is not either to save or to destroy slavery. What? He didn't even want to destroy slavery. Hold up. He didn't want to destroy slavery. He wanted to keep slavery because it was about that bag. It was about that bread. It says, if I could save the Union without freeing any slave, I would do it. And if I could save it by freeing all the slaves, I would do it. And if I could save it by freeing some and leaving others alone, I would also do that. You see that? You see that? They all playing both sides. They're the Democrats, the Republicans, they all play both sides because they look at our people like they ain't never get taught real information, so they ain't gonna know no way. All you gotta do is keep talking about black people and white people. They just gonna get pulled into that kind of emotional conversation. They gonna get pulled into emotionalism, and critical thinking is gonna shut down in their head. So then you go right over here, and what do you see? You go right over here, and what do you see? Look at this. This is why you got to get out of this right here. You got to get out of this status. All of these are a status in law. And you notice that none of these black leaders have ever talked about or shown a law book. They just talking about black people and white people and how we've been oppressed. White supremacy. Ain't no such thing as white supremacy. That's cap. There's no such thing as black supremacy. That's cap. What does it say? It say in 1865, however, Lincoln was in a bind. He wanted to end chattel slavery, but did not really believe that black lives mattered. He did not believe that black people should be judges, jurors, or even allowed to vote. The Civil War was over, and he was the so-called white president of a white supremacist nation. Keep in mind, Abraham Lincoln was a dark-skinned man. He was not a pale-skinned Caucasian. Keep that in your mind. All right? He said he stood united around the narrative of Caucasian Christian exceptionalism and triumphalism. He had, along with other people of color, keep that phrase in your mind. Look, keep this phrase, people of color, in your mind. It's a dehumanizing term in law. All right? In a society, government, and constitution that had been built on Caucasian landowners. But check this solution out that he had. For all y'all promoting FBA, you setting yourself up for a death trap. I'm finna show you how. It's in law. You know the subject our people don't get taught. He say, Abraham Lincoln say, his grand political solution was to use the 13th Amendment to keep Caucasian supremacy alive beyond the grotesque institution of slavery by creating a second-tier level of citizenship. Oh my God. You see that? Now watch this. Specifically for people of color. So when you, out your mouth, agree to be a black person, an Indian, a Native American, you saying you still a slave. In law, you're a slave. In 2025 and beyond. As soon as that come out your mouth and you say, well, that's me. Yeah, I'm a black woman. I'm a black man. Okay, slave. Now you got privileges. You ain't got no rights. Okay, slave, do as I tell you to do. Go get a license like I tell you to do. You a slave. You want justice? You want reparations? You ain't never gonna get it. You ain't never gonna get it. As long as you saying you a black person, as long as you saying you a person of color, you will never see reparations. Ever. So this is why they don't teach law to our people. So what does it say in law? It says the 13th Amendment, neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. U.S. Constitution, 13th Amendment. This clause in the 13th Amendment meant slavery was never abolished. It was simply redefined and codified under the jurisdiction of law enforcement officers and the courts. OMG. Now you starting to put it together. Hold on. You starting to put it together. Well, you start to see it for what it really is and not for what you believe it is. Not for what none of these so-called black teachers, black educators, FBA, Indian Bureau of Affairs, they all selling y'all out. And see, the real thing is our people are such underneath a spell. Like they under a trance. They think like it's an identity crisis. But let me show y'all who really getting paid. Don't y'all remember Black Lives Matter? You know what? We're going to do it together. And if y'all got questions for these books, I can't show y'all the books in real time. So you got to DM me. All right? Because I see what I see what TikTok on. If I show y'all the books and it ain't on TikTok in a TikTok shop, they'll flag the page. They'll flag the whole live. So you got questions about it for sure. All you got to do is just DM me. I got you. But let's look it up together. Let's look up some stuff together real quick. Y'all know that these black organizations, you know how much money they're making off ignorance? Let's do it in real time. Let's just do it in real time. Let me just show y'all. Look at this. It says, how much has Black Lives Matter made? Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation has raised over 90 million in 2020. What? With another 35 million given as grants to over 70 organizations. Are you serious? You see how much money they get paid for you misidentifying as a black person? They getting money. I'm talking about big bank, big cash. 90 million? That was just in 2020. They made over 70 with over 70 organizations. So every time you call yourself a black person, Hispanic, a Latino, a person of color, guess what? You just donated to the funding of a scam, which is BLM. They scamming y'all. They scamming y'all out y'all bread. They scamming y'all out y'all emotions. They scamming y'all out y'all status. They scamming y'all about everything that you supposed to have. Everything. And you know what? It's voluntary. Just like the 13th Amendment. You see how I say in the 13th Amendment? You see how it says neither slavery nor involuntary servitude. What does that mean? What does that mean? What it means is the people that's out here telling you that you're a so-called black person, they're not making you identify as that. All they doing is telling you that you is that. You voluntarily are saying, okay, yeah, that's me. You voluntarily saying, yeah, that's me. I'm a black person. You see that? So when we go right over here, hold on. We go right over here, right? Now let's make it real for you. Let's make it all the way real for you, right? You look right here, and what do you see? You see this. It say, this right here. Hold up. Let's go right here. It say, the 13th Amendment states neither slavery nor involuntary servitude. Those are prohibitions. There is no option. It says nothing. Listen to this. It's finna blow your mind. It says nothing regarding voluntary servitude. That is your choice. If you contract to be in voluntary servitude, that's your choice. Oh my God. Yeah. These people are wicked, fam. These people are sick. They set it up so you can voluntarily put yourself in servitude. Everything is voluntary. Nobody makes you say that you a Negro. And don't forget, if you learn Spanish, when you say you a black person, you're saying that you're a Negro. This is why Noble Drew Ali the Prophet said Moors need to learn a second language, which is Spanish, which is really Moorish Latin. So every time you say you're a black person, you're saying you're a Negro. And a Negro in law is a person that does not have human rights. You ain't got human rights. This is why police could do whatever they want to do to our people. Because they understand the police are already giving out the hints and the clues. So every time you say, I'm part of the FBA is what I am, I'm black. Okay, well, you a Negro. You might as well just go ahead and put chains on. Because that's a slave status. All you got to do is ask yourself a simple question. They always running their mouth. All these black organizations, they all do it. Just start paying attention. None of them ever bring out a law book and say, look, this is what we need to look at right here. But they always cry about no justice and no peace. If you want justice, don't you think it'd be smart to go to a law book? I mean, it just makes sense. If you want justice and you ain't been getting no justice, don't it just make sense to say, all right, forget all of, we finna go ring around the rosy all around the world. Nah, let's just go straight to a law library. And let's look up what people of color mean. Don't go in the law book looking up black. When you look in the law book, look up the term color. It's going to blow your mind. You see, because a lot of people hit me up. They be like, Cush, I looked up black. I tried to find what black was in law off what you was talking about. And it ain't say nothing about that. Pick up a Henry Campbell Black's Law Dictionary. That's all you got to do. 4th edition. Get that, go into it, and it's, fam, look up colored, look up colorable, look up color of authority, look up color of law. Everything in your mind, your whole mentality is going to switch because you going to be the judge. You going to be the one that look it up. Why don't none of these black leaders look it up? Hold up, you know what? Let's look this up. Let's do this together. Hold up. Let's do this together. How much has the NAACP made? Let's just look this up together. Let's just look this up together. Fam, you know how much money it is to keep our people calling themselves black? I'm going to show y'all in real time. Look what it say. It says, now these ain't my words. This AI. People love Googling. People love going to ChatGPT. The name of the book that I was talking about is Henry Campbell's Law Dictionary. Black's Law, 4th edition. Get that book. All right. Now, the NAACP's recent financial performance shows, see that, fluctuating revenue and expenses. In 2022, the organization's revenue was approximately $51.2 million. That was in 2022. While its expenses were over $62 million. It says, what? While these figures represent the financial activity for a specific year, the NAACP's overall financial standing includes assets of over $106 million. And it's supported through donations. Look, the NAACP is supported with donations. You see how we mentioned the 13th Amendment, voluntary? You see? Voluntary. That's what you think a donation is. When you donate to them, it's nobody forcing you to do it. Just like ain't nobody forcing you to give to the pastors in them 501c3 churches. But the pastor could drive a Bentley. Huh? The pastor, they could drive a Maybach, right? Hold up. Let's go right here. Hold up. Let's go right here. The pastor could drive a Maybach, and let's go right here. Hold up. So the pastor could drive the Maybach, right? Hold up. Just look at this right here. And we're gonna go back to them numbers. They love talking about numbers. Where the money at, right? Well, the NAACP, they made $51.2 million since 2022. $51.2 million through donations, grants, and other contributions, not government funding. So when you go to the 13th Amendment, what did it say? It said everything was voluntary. You're volunteering for your own enslavement. And it's as simple as the power to control your tongue with your identity. Y'all out there, don't y'all read the Bible? People be praising. I read the Bible. I know the Bible back and forth, right? Right. Okay, don't the Bible say that the power of life and death is in the tongue? Ain't that in there? Ain't that in the scriptures that they love bragging about? I mean, I'm talking about they go crazy with the scriptures, right? Crazy with the scriptures. The Bible tells you the power of life and death is in the tongue. So the 13th Amendment says everything is voluntary. Now, when you come over here, when you come over here and you look at this, right? Look at this. Look at this. Now we go to law, right? We go to law. We go to law and look at it. Remember I told y'all look up color and colored, right? Color is an appearance, semblance, or simulacrum as distinguished from that which is real. Did you catch that? So anytime you say you FBA, anytime you say you're an Indian, you just said you are a color. So you're distinguishing yourself from that which is real. You're saying out your mouth. You're saying it out your mouth that you're not real. You're a slave. Hold on. It says colored. You see colored. Hold on. It say colored, right? Oh, let me do this. Okay. Let me do this. So it says colored by common usage in America. Check it out. So that's in America, right? It says by common usage in America. People using this term in America. Hard. It says in such phrases as quote unquote colored persons, the colored race, colored man, and the like is used to designate Negroes or persons of the African race. What? Hold up. Including all persons of mixed blood descendant from Negro ancestry. Now, this is where it get interesting. Hold up. This is where it get interesting right here. If that wasn't enough, watch this. It says, now this is law. This ain't Cush Day words. This is law. It says, it has also been held that there is no legal technical signification to the phrase colored person, which the courts are bound judicially to know. Oh my God. What does that mean? The courts are not judicially bound to recognize persons of color. This is why our people never get justice in the so-called justice system, because they've been tricked to misidentify as black, as person of color. That's the trick. And it's all voluntary. Damn. It's all voluntary. It's all voluntary. The power of life and death is in the tongue. Even with what you identify as, it's in the tongue. Now look, what does it say right here? What does it say right here for the word Negro? Now keep in mind, this is from a law book, right? This ain't me. Hold up. It says the word Negro means a black man. Now, didn't we just go over here and show y'all that? Didn't we just go over here and show y'all that if you study Spanish, you know that the word negro means black. So every time you say you're a black person, you're calling yourself a negro, which is a slave status, man or woman. You calling yourself a slave in 2025 and beyond. All right? Know that. This ain't opinion. This all law. This all facts. You say, what do I identify as? Moorish American. Moorish American. Moor. Al-Moroccan. Long as you say more, you good. You start talking about, well, I feel like I'm a black man. You in the booby trap. You in the death trap. You gone. No, we supposed to identify ourselves as kings and queens, which are Moors. That's our true nationality and our true identity. This is our protection. Stand up tall with your crown on. See the crown? She got her crown on. He got his crown on. See that? Hold up. Now check this out. It says Negro. It does not commonly include a mulatto, right? Now watch where it gets spooky at. This where it's finna get spooky. It say the term Negro means necessarily person of color, but not every person of color is Negro. Oh, do you see that? So you see the distinction between somebody who has the free will to identify as a black man, black woman, Negro, or a Moor. It's up to you what you choose to identify as. That's the greatest gift from Allah. You got free will, fam. You can identify what you want to identify as, but you better know it's consequences. It's consequences. Everything is voluntary. Can't nobody make you identify as nothing. You say what you is, don't you? Don't nobody tell you, hey, I'm going to start calling you blue. You a blue person. Nah, don't they say it ain't what you called, it's what you answer to? Huh? It ain't what you called, it's what you answer to, right? So why do you keep answering to this? That's the thing. Why do you keep answering to this? That's the question. Is somebody making you answer to this? See that? Nobody's making you do that. Now, see, well, we talked about cognitive dissonance, right? And on top of that, black was not being used to refer to people prior to the 1100s to the 1400s. This is a misconception. See that? Or during the pre-Columbian era. Simply put, the term did not exist and thereby cannot have a definitive application to people or a solidified place in the context of any spoken languages or written literature.